to a signing day and then the basketball game.
She was going to the basketball game.
Or it was the basketball game, and then I know that the new head coach got introduced the very next day. I don't know if you stayed there for both those events, but great to have you back on once again. And I have to thank you personally because I was able to make a correct prediction on the show.
I'm sorry I didn't listen.
I made a correct prediction on the show because I listened to you. You said the building, Bud Walton, will be absolutely jumping and Arkansas will pull off a win. You were dead on. And this is your time to gloat.
You know what? And Patrick, I appreciate you for saying that you should have listened.
Yeah, that's my
because
fault.
I don't typically, and I said this, I really feel like Arkansas is going to win this game. And they did. I think I even mentioned this too. I can't remember if I was on the road and my brain was not working properly, but I think I even mentioned that Louisville likes to take a lot of threes. And Patrick, we know from this season that Arkansas's 3-point defense, a little struggling.
Struggling.
I said, if they can do that, they'll win. And what did they do? Louisville took a lot of threes, I think 37 in that game, and they only made 8 of them.
Yeah,
so there you go.
That's not going to win you a game.
No.
Yeah. Well, they definitely didn't win them the game. It got close there. It got close there at the end. But Arkansas needed that. Coach Calipari even said after the game, he said, I didn't like how close it was at the end there, but we needed that. We needed to see that this team could be battle tested all throughout until the end of a game and still pull out a win. And that's what they needed to know, that they could do that against a top 25 opponent. And that's what they did.
Courtney, in the last segment, we talked about LeBaron Philon, and he is coming off of SEC Player of the Week honors. And one freshman that you've been telling us to keep our eye on is Darius Acuff Jr., and he was tabbed with SEC Freshman of the Week honors last week. Are we starting to see him develop into this key piece for Arkansas moving forward?
I think you've already been seeing he's a key piece of this offense. The guard play of this team has been electric all season, and it really starts with those 2 freshmen in Darius Acuff and Malik Thomas, who I both talked about and gushed about on the show. But Darius Acuff, once again, I mean, in that game, right, you had Trevin Brazil start off with just an amazing performance. He had some huge plays early on, 2 back-to-back threes, and then he was kind of setting the tone. He had 17 of his 21 points in that first half. But then he had to leave the game due to injury for just a little bit. He did come back in the game, and it was Darius Acuff that kind of said, okay, time to pick it up where he left off. And that's where you saw him, 17 points, 10 assists, a double-double for him on the night. And so, yeah, you're definitely – I don't think you're starting to see him come into his own, because he always knew from the jump, and this team knew from the jump they were going to need to rely on him. It's a reason why Boogie Fland went to Florida. They had one of the top freshmen coming in, and they're like, that's going to be our point guard. Sorry, Boogie, but you're talented, but we just can't. We have too many guards. We have too many guards, and we already have a guy that's going to take your minutes. Sorry, no offense. Hopefully none taken, man. Go to Florida, go do your thing. But that's a reason why, because everybody knew, and especially this coaching staff knew, that Darius Acuff was going to come in and show everybody that, hey, he is a huge and key piece of this team. Malik Thomas as well. I think, honestly, people were surprised a little bit that, hey, Malik Thomas coming in here, coming off the bench and doing what he's been able to do in games. Right. But Darius Acuff, no surprise there. We kind of knew this is as advertised, so to speak.
For sure. Every time I listen to John Calipari, whether it's clips at practice and he's yelling at his guys, then he comes back and talks to the media about his team, and he's usually really brutally honest about where they are, what they're doing terribly. That's normally where he starts and where he finishes. Last time he said it, and he said it kind of tongue-in-cheek, but also in a way where it's like, I wonder how he's going to do that. He said, we have to go back to 8th grade basketball, and he made it look like we're going to – he stupefied it, for example. He just said, we'll pass the ball here, and almost if you're a player, I think if you're in the wrong headspace, you could take that the wrong way. But given the results of the last 2 games, it feels like whatever he did has kind of worked.
You're exactly right. And the 8th grade basketball line was really because he wanted to see his players pass the ball more. And so when I shoot the games, I sit right by their bench, so I can hear what he's saying to them. And I can tell you guys right here on this show, the amount of times I see that man get up and go, pass the ball. Pass the freaking ball. And so I've seen him do that.
I'm sure
That's
he
my
wasn't
Coach
PG about
Calipari.
it.
I was. Don't worry.
Yeah, you were.
I'm not trying
I
to-
don't think he was.
Thank you for saving us that
Not
fine.
trying to get fired today. Okay. My boss watches the show. Thank you, but I'm just trying to get fired today. But how many times I've heard him say that is a lot this season. And so he wasn't kidding when he was like, I think we need to go back to 8th grade basketball because they're trying to play hero ball, right? They're trying to play too much hero ball. Oh gosh, I've got to take over. I've got to get to the bucket and I've got to score. When you have an open man on the wing that's waiting for it, you have an open man, that you can dish it out to that's going to be that's open, that can get that bucket a lot better than you. And so that's what he's trying to instill in them, right? That's 8th grade basketball, because I remember when I was back in, high school, even high school, not even middle school, even high school, we would do passing drills where we had to pass the ball 5 or 6 times before we could even score, before we were even allowed to touch that rim, right?
Yeah.
We had to pass that ball 5 or 6 times. And so that's what he was saying. But it's working, right? It's working. Going back to the basics. I mean, goodness gracious, you can go back to Darius Acuff having a double-double, right? 10 assists. That's what he wants to see moving forward from his guards. And that's what you're kind of seeing. Not exactly to the point where you want it to be, but definitely in the right direction.
Spinning it forward here, a tough one this weekend against a really good Texas Tech team led by a guy that I think the SEC is going to have to start learning his name in JT Toppin. How do you slow down a guy that's averaging a double-double?
You got to play really well, right?
Yeah.
How do you slow him down? You've got to play really well, and it's going to take the whole team. I've said this before this season. There can't just be a Darius Acuff, and there can't just be a Malik Thomas, and there can't just be a Trevin Brazile. This team thrives when they use the entire 8-man rotation. Really, truly. They can't just have good guard play. They can't have their bigs taking a night off. They have to work together. And so to me, it's going to take a complete game from this team. That's how they did it against Louisville. I think you can look at the tape from that and go, okay, everybody contributed in some way. Even in small ways on the stat sheet, right? Or even ways that don't show up on the stat sheet, everybody contributed. And that's what they're going to need to do against Texas Tech. And guys, I'm going to be honest with you. This is going to be a fun game.
Yes.
I hate that it's at 11 a.m., but this is going to be a fun game. You have guys on this team that remember what happened last year.
Yep.
That you have a Carter Knox, you have a Billy Richmond, you have a Trevin Brazile, you have a DJ Wagner, you have 2 guys who didn't play in the game on the bench that said, we know what this means. I mean, we asked Darius Acuff in the post-game presser after that win over Fresno State this past week. He said, I wasn't a part of that game. I watched that game. I know what this means to this team. I want to win it for these guys. Yeah. These guys deserve a win. It's going to be the emotions of this game is going to be what's interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because I really do believe that Arkansas, and both teams are very talented, don't get me wrong. Whoever's going to show up more for it is going to win this game, quite honestly. And what Arkansas needs to do is exactly what they did, exactly what they kind of didn't do in that game last year, really, was crash the boards. Texas Tech is so good at rebounding this year. They were last year as well, but they are this year. That's one of their strengths. And so for me, it's like you have got to crash the glass, and offensively too. I think Texas Tech is like second in the conference in offensive rebounding right now. And so you have got to crash the boards. They did that against Louisville. They did. Now, Fresno State won the rebounding battle, not by much on Saturday, but Arkansas found a way to win that game in other ways, leaning on things that weren't their strengths, and they used them to be their strengths in that game, so it worked. But in this game, I know Coach Cal is going in there saying, we better crash the boards. You better rebound. You better be aggressive and physical when you're in the paint. I know you can do that. You've done that against Louisville. You can do it against Texas Tech. Guys, I'm going to be honest. This one's a little harder to predict.
Oh, that's where I was going next.
I'm just saying.
Crystal ball.
Just saying.
Crystal ball.
Okay.
All right, I'll pose this to you then. Here's
okay.
Courtney's crystal ball. Who's going to end up with more points? Darius Acuff Jr. or JT Toppin?
I'm going to say JT Toppin.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
No, really,
That
because
makes sense. That makes sense.
because Darius isn't gonna. Darius is absolutely a wonderful scorer. He absolutely is, but he's there for what the team needs, right? And so that's what I kind of said. Trevin Brazile had 17 of his 21 points in that first half of that Louisville game. Trevin Brazile set the tone. Right. Darius Acuff kind of said, "All right, let me do this now." You know what I mean? He kind of he fills whatever gap you need. And so to me, that's why JT Toppin is going to be a guy who scores more points than him. However, I am going to say this. If I had to guess, I think Arkansas's emotions of this game are really going to take over. Okay. And I truly believe that Arkansas is going to win this one. It's going to be close.
Nice.
It's going to be close.
Nice.
But I
might listen to you.
Okay, I'm just saying, they're both really talented teams. When you look on paper, you're like, man, this is hard. This is hard. But I think Arkansas learned something about themselves in that win over Louisville. And Cal said it. We needed to close out a close game.
Yeah.
We need when Louisville was coming back, and I think it was like they got within 5 in the second half. I think Coach Cal, you could see it on his face. He knew this needed to happen, and he knew, okay, this is what we need to go through so that, hey, we know what this is like, and we can do it on the road at a neutral site. But there's a lot of Hog fans in Dallas. There's a lot of Texas Tech fans there too.
Yes, right.
So.
Yeah. You stole my next question, because if you watched the game at Jerry World, the football game, Texas Tech and BYU, that place was a sea of red, and you knew that there was a lot of Texas Tech people that were in Dallas. I wonder if it's the same way for Arkansas. I know Arkansas is one of their most famous alum is Jared Jones, and he lives out in Dallas. but I wonder, is there enough of an Arkansas fan base to be able to put a dent there in that capacity there where the Mavs play?
Well, I'll give you a little I guess a little stat for you here. Okay, I'll just give you a little stat to kind of prove my point here. Yes, I know there's going to be a lot of Texas Tech fans there. That obviously. But I'll say this. When we look at our YouTube statistics, and when I was working for Pig Trail Nation, same goes for Fox 16. When we look at our YouTube statistics of who watches our content about the Razorbacks, do you know the highest city that it's viewed in?
Really? Is it Dallas?
Dallas, Texas.
Wow.
It's not Little Rock, Arkansas.
Right.
Little Rock's the next one.
Yeah.
So it's Dallas, then Little Rock. It's not even Fayetteville. Fayetteville's like 4th on the list.
Right.
Of like cities.
Come on, we got to get our act together over there.
I'm not,
It's just a lot of people who end up moving to Dallas, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the alumni base is good.
Yeah.
We know that in Dallas. My question is, how many are going to show up? Because 11 a.m. games.
It's early.
I know this from Arkansas fans. It's like, oh, we want to go get brunch. We want to. No.
Go to the game.
Go to the game.
Exactly.
Okay. Go to the. If you're not going to this game, I don't know how to help you. You're not a sports fan. You don't care. This game is a rematch of a Sweet 16 matchup that went to overtime in San Francisco. I was there. I was panicking. It was a crazy, crazy atmosphere. If you're not going to this game, what are you doing? What are you doing?
In your sportscasts for the next couple of days, I want you to say literally that. Every single time, and rally the fans to get there.
Done.
Courtney,
Gerhard.
You are so awesome. Thank you so much for joining us here on Southeast Sports Plus.
Thank you, guys. I love coming on the show. You guys are the best. Seriously.